Hey everyone, let's talk about citation, specifically MLA 8. First off, your teachers always tell you to cite stuff in your papers. So what is citation? Citation is a formal system of notation that records the sources of all information in professional writing that is not common knowledge or your own thoughts or original research. Here, original research means a study that you have conducted that resulted in data or other information that you have analyzed. For instance, if you surveyed the students at Madison College about their satisfaction with parking on campus, and then analyzed your results to gain a clear picture of that student satisfaction, you will have completed original research. So citation notes in a paper the sources of information and ideas that are derived from other researchers' study and analysis. There are many citation styles. This presentation focuses on just one, MLA, which is a citation style developed by the Modern Language Association. If you've read any scholarly work, you've seen citation in action. When a source is mentioned in a sentence, they are being cited. A page number in parentheses after a quote or paraphrase is a parenthetical citation. This in-text citation connects to an entry on the Works Cited page at the end of the paper. This helps the reader find the author's sources, which helps the reader determine the author's credibility and allows them to locate the author's sources for more information. So what needs to be cited? Cite all material that is not common knowledge or easily accessible. Common knowledge is knowledge that you can reasonably expect an adult to know. For example, evolution. Even if you don't believe in evolution, it is a widely known and accepted theory. Or global warming. Even if you don't believe in global warming or agree that global warming is caused by human action, you can expect people to understand the concept, so you don't need to cite it. Additionally, you do not need to cite materials that may not be common knowledge but are easily accessible. For example, many people may not know or care that the 1924 Summer Olympics were held in Paris, but that information is easy to find. And people might not know that the 1916 Olympics were canceled because of World War I, but that's easy to find out too. But for the purposes of your paper in my class, cite most of the information that you take from sources, like the symptoms of disease, the effects of global warming, or how colleges profit from student athletes. This information is common knowledge or is easily accessible, but I want to know your sources. So why are we talking about citation? Well, the creators of original work, like a scholarly study, a poem, or a painting, deserve credit and are owed credit by law. Citation allows you to avoid plagiarism, which is using someone else's words or image as if they were your own. Plagiarism can result in points deducted from an assignment, or failure of an assignment, or failure of a class. Further, citation helps readers find your sources so they can read more about the topic. Finally, citation establishes your own credibility. There are two parts to MLA citation, the parenthetical citation and the works cited page. First, the parenthetical citation, or in-text citation, is a notation that you place in your paper right after you quote, paraphrase, or summarize information that you've taken from a source. In that parenthetical citation, you need two pieces of information: the last name of the author of your source, and the page number on which the information you have used appears, like Clark 345. Clark is the author, and the information you use comes from page 345 of Clark's article. Notice that there's no comma in that citation between the name and the page number. However, if you mention Clark in your sentence with an attributive tag, also known as a signal phrase, like according to Clark, you need only include the page number in your citation. If your source has no page numbers, like most web pages, you cannot put a page number in the citation. so you would just include the author's last name. The only times you need to note the source's title in the parenthetical citation is when your source has no author or when you are using two sources by the same author. It's okay to shorten the title to one or two keywords. If you include in your sentence the information that identifies your source, either the author's name or the source's title, and the source does not have page numbers, you do not need a parenthetical citation. In this example, I mention the author in the sentence, so I only need to note the number of the page on which the information that I paraphrase appears in the author's article. The second piece of MLA citation is the works cited page. This is a list of sources that you include at the end of your paper. Every source that you cite in the body of your paper should be listed on the works cited page, and every source on your works cited page should be mentioned or cited in your paper. The works cited page lists the full publication information for each source that is cited or mentioned in your paper. For instance, this first source is an article by Cornelia Dean that was published in the New York Times on May 22, 2007. The second source is a review of An Inconvenient Truth that was published on RogerEbert.com. The works cited page is arranged alphabetically by the first item in each citation, whether the first item is the author's name, the source title, or a web page. On the next slide, I'll explain which comes first. Note that, in each entry, every line after the first is indented. I expect to see that on your works cited page. This is what should always be included in your works cited page citation, and the information should always be in this order. But if your source is missing one of these elements, skip it. For instance, if your source does not have an author, your citation should begin with the source's title. Or if the source has not gone through multiple versions, like editions of a book, then you do not have a version to list. The container is the place where you found your source. It contains your source. For instance, almost every web page is part of a larger website. The website is the container. Scholarly articles are usually published in scholarly journals. The journals are the container. Let's look at a citation for a news article found online. This article was written by Parul Segal. The title is Surviving Katrina. This article was published on the New York Times website. That's its container. The article was published on December 30th, 2011. Then I include the URL because that is the article's location in the world. Note that the URL does not begin with HTTP. Let's look at how the elements of the citation for the online source match the citation template. Because the article does not have contributors or a volume and number, we just skip those things in the citation. And because the New York Times publisher has the same name as the website, we don't need to record the publisher. Let's look at a citation for a source that you found through a database. Here, Christopher Clark is the author. What Comes to the Surface, Storms, Bodies, and Community in Jessamine Ward's Salvage the Bones is the title of the article. The container is Mississippi Quarterly, which is where this article was first published. The article was published in volume 68, number 3-4 of Mississippi Quarterly, which was their summer-fall 2015 issue. Within that issue, the article was published on pages 341 through 358. That's the article's location in the issue. But you access this source through a database, Academic Search Complete. This database contains Mississippi Quarterly, so it is the second container. Finally, you need the location of the article within this second container, so you include the URL. The source's digital object identifier, or DOI, would be better, but not every source has a DOI. Let's look at how this citation fits into the template. This is the citation for the article in its first container, Mississippi Quarterly. You then add to this the name and location of its second container, which is the database Academic Search Complete, and the DOI or URL of the source within the database. Remember this about titles in your papers or your citations. Container titles, like newspaper titles or web page names, are written in italics. Other titles, like article titles or online videos, are written in quotes. Think of it as quoting the container. So the 14th episode of Season 6 of Scandal is Head Games. One of the subchapters of Margaret Atwood's novel Oryx and Crake is Bottle. A 2017 article on the Atlantic website explores the zombie diseases of climate change. And Drake's album Views contains the song One Dance. Don't forget, in MLA citation, your sources are listed on the Works Cited page. This list of sources should not be titled References or Bibliography. These are terms for other kinds of citation. And don't forget the hanging indent in every Works Cited page entry. Finally, have you noticed my citations for the images in this presentation? I have focused on print publications accessed through the internet or online databases. But anything you take from a source, from images to graphs to videos, must be cited. And every source must be cited. Tweets, emails, interviews and conversations, or online videos. Everything. But you don't know how to cite videos or images, and maybe you've forgotten half of what this presentation already told you. So what do? The internet has a multitude of pages devoted to helping you create proper parenthetical citations that link to sources listed on your Works Cited page. The Purdue Online Writing Lab, or OWL, is just one of many web pages that exist to help you craft correct citations. The internet also has many websites that will help you build your citations, but I caution you about them. If you do not give those citation machines the correct information, they will produce an incorrect citation. Even when the citation machine imports information directly from a website, it makes mistakes. Always check automated citations against the template to make sure you are properly attributing evidence to its source. Thanks for watching, and have fun citing.